Hey guys, today is Sunday and I woke up this morning and I got a question on that post that I did, gosh, it was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago when I asked you guys, did you have any questions? Let's do a Q&A. And I just loved this question. Brooke and I just talked about this when we were at breakfast in Boston this past week. So it inspired me to not only answer that question, but to go back to that post and answer as many questions as possible. I'm gonna sort them by newest first because it was Babs that asked me how to deal with high school age teenagers, especially girls. Stories, tips, successes, regrets, etc. Managing your feelings as they grow up. Would love to hear your experience, please. Okay, I've told you, or I've shared with you before, that we had a tough time in middle school. It started right off the bat in 6th grade. Matter of fact, I noticed a difference in Brooke in the summer from 5th to 6th grade. And I think it was mostly hormonal. And so she got to 6th grade and she had some tough teachers. I remember her math teacher was really not nice and was really tough. And then she started having some hard times with the other girls. A lot of it was because she had been in this little elementary school, since kindergarten. And then when they went to the middle school, a bunch of different elementary schools fed into this middle school. And so there were new people. And I think that combined with, classes maybe getting a little bit tougher, a new school, and new people and the hormones and everything, just, wow, it created the perfect storm for sure. And it didn't help much that was when my haters or subscribers that did not like me would find her on Instagram and they would message her and they would bully her on Instagram, and then they would also message me. And it was just a whole thing. It was just a whole bad period. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade was tough, but it was such a bonding time and it was such a learning time for me because I had never really gone through that. And I really learned that above all, I was on her side. There was never a time where I made her feel like it was me and the teacher against her, or me and the school, or me and anything against her. It was always, always us against whatever the issue was. And that is my biggest advice for marriages, for families, for all of your close relationships. So we got through it. And I really tried to be an example to her about keeping on and not letting that stuff stop you from doing what you want to do. And I also, taught her kindness and not doing mean stuff back. And we just got through it. I mean, I can remember just saying to her every morning, because I took her to school every morning and I picked her up every afternoon, and I would say, just get through the day, just one day at a time. And then we got to high school. So high school wasn't quite as bad. She had gotten to a better place mentally. I think the hormone rage and the new people rage was kind of quieting down. But she never felt like she was one of the popular girls. She never was in a big group. She still had like that core group of friends. And thank goodness she had some really good teachers. A lot of the teachers that she had that were really compassionate, kind of like a safe space where she could go at lunch if she wanted to go, ended up being the same way for Will. Like an art teacher was fabulous, and a lot of other different teachers. So high school wasn't quite as bad, but she just could not wait to get out of there. And I told her, this child hated school from day one, like kindergarten. She cried every day up until 2nd grade. And so I said, Brooke, I am not going to make you go to school after this. If we can just get through this, you will be fine. Let's just get through this. So that's what we did. We just got through every year, every day, one at a time. And I told her, high school is not everyone's time to shine. There will be those girls in high school that are just the it girls. They will be so popular, all the boys will like them, and then there will be those girls that are over on the sidelines that are not going to be as noticed, that are not going to be in their element. This is not where they thrive, and I know that because I was this girl. And I always felt bad because I wasn't a cheerleader, or I wasn't, with my parents being more strict with me, I wasn't able to go to as many parties and stuff, which I'm so daggone thankful for. And I think Brooke felt like that a lot too. So the other day when we were talking, we were just talking about some of those girls now. Let's just say that was their time. That was their peak era. That was their time that they probably felt the best and they looked the best. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but I would rather be the girl standing on the outside in high school, maybe not getting all the boys, not the most popular, but I would rather know that every year of my life was going to get better and better and better. And that is how I have felt all the way up to 54 years old. I feel better about myself now than I did when I was 24 years old. And that's what I want for her. And she is just at a really good place right now. Now, there are still insecurities. There are still growing pains. She's 25, and that is when the adult brain has fully, supposedly, formed, and I can tell a big difference. She's talking to me about more things, and she has really been trying and really matured a lot. It's just different too than it was when we were 25. When I was 25, I had a brand new house and a Corvette. And I was married. But it's not that time right now. I don't know what's to blame really. I don't know if it's social media or I don't know what it is. It could be me. I don't know. But it is what it is and we're dealing with it. So my advice would be that to tell your children, male or female, boy or girl, high school is not everyone's time to shine. We don't want to be Al Bundy, still living his football career in high school. We want to be that person that continually grows, continually gets better. It doesn't mean necessarily more money. It doesn't necessarily mean a better boyfriend. It doesn't necessarily mean looking better. It just means becoming more and more confident, more and more in tune with who you are and what's important for you, setting goals, having a direction, and steadily, no matter how slow, you're working towards that goal and you're making better decisions and you're having better consequences. That's what it's all about. Now, when it comes to the bullying, that is something hard because there were mean girls in my school, and I remember the meanest they ever were, I didn't even know them. I would never have said a word to them, but if their boyfriend just happened to look at me, I remember one girl wrote all over my car in lipstick. She wrote bitch and all this stuff, and I was staying with my grandmother down at the beach. I did not even know her. I had never spoke one word to her, but I think the night before her boyfriend had looked at me at a party. And so I did experience that just a little bit, and it's always been very bizarre because I did not grow up with a mother who talked about other women. I didn't grow up in a negative, insecure household. I grew up with good, healthy feminine energy, good, healthy masculine energy, and I was always told pretty girls are a dime a dozen, and other things that I needed to work on my character and other things to be the person I wanted to be. And so that's what I would say, and that's what I've always said to Brooke. And even here on YouTube, I've had to understand why people that do not like me continue to watch me for years and years and years. They will watch me for 10 years and still be leaving mean comments, and I don't get it. I try, and I just try to have compassion for those people. There's obviously something that's missing that they find in that. And, you know, my dad just told me one time, he said, just get over it. Some people are just mean. And I've had to kind of face that some people feel justified in being mean. And that I've told Brooke that. I said, you know, I just can't, you know, the whole hurt people. I understand that to a degree. And I have been hurt, and I would avoid certain people, certain things when I didn't want to be faced with someone so damn happy or someone that would make me feel bad. I would avoid those situations. It was kind of like, you know, fight or flight. Well, I always did the flight. And so I get it, but just try to explain the best you can for her to stay strong, understand this is just a minute in time, just a minute in time. And she has the rest of her life to bloom, to find good friends, to find a friend in herself, to bond with her family, to take on new adventures. I mean, the world is so much bigger than high school. But at that time, it's such a big deal. And I understand it. And I have even been told that by the school counselor. Because when we went through the middle school thing, I went to the counselor and she told me, she said, Mom, you know, her hormones are making her feel like these little things that you feel like aren't a big deal are a great big deal to her. And it was very well deserved. I needed to hear that, and I took it to heart. I thought, you know, she's right. I remember when I was in high school and junior high, you know, you feel like you're in love. You feel like it's the end of the world. You feel like whatever someone says is the biggest deal. So I do get that they're in the moment, and just be there for them. Be her, I don't even want to say best friend, but her best support, her rock, her teammate in life. Help her compassionately with patience, and be prepared for it not to be received. Be prepared to say a lot of things that you don't think they're hearing or you don't think they're receiving, but they are. They really are. And that is my, you know, I was telling John this last night. I can't remember what we were watching. I think we were watching The Bear. And I told John, I said, you know, as a mom, you always look back and you wonder, was I a good mom? And you always, you know, there are things you wish you would have done more, done better. But in a lot of ways, that's where I was a good mom, is I have always been on my kids' side. I am not worried about being embarrassed. I am not worried about what someone else thinks. I am not competing with any other parent or any other child. I am Team Brooke and Will and John and my family all the way. Okay, so this may be late. I was wondering what you do when having a bad day to bring yourself back into a positive mindset. I did a whole video on this, on what to do when you're having a bad day. And you know what is so crazy about this too? I really have a seriously busy self-conscious or subconscious. When I wake up, stuff just pops in my head. And a lot of times I'll write it on my journal. And this is something that I wrote down, and it kind of goes with this. But I remember when I did that video, someone thanked me for all of the good tips, and I will link that right up here. And they said it was so good watching that video, and I didn't mention going shopping, I didn't mention getting stuff to eat or anything like that. And I remember when she said it, it was a really good compliment, because I never once thought of shopping to make myself feel better. Matter of fact, that is the furthest thing from my mind. When I'm having a bad day, I will have to make myself go in places to do things. Normally what I'll do is save things like picking up dry cleaning. My Lisa necklace broke. I want to take that to get repaired. I've got a pair of Gucci sunglasses I want to take to get repaired. And I've got all that in the car for one of those days where I'm not having the best day. Maybe I didn't sleep very well. Maybe something's just feeling off. And I know that getting a few of those little things done will make me feel better in the end. And then in that video, I talk about how to set yourself up for the next day being so good. Because I have consciously thought, wow, I can go from hero to zero and zero to hero in a couple of days. I can have just the worst day, and then as long as I do the things it takes, the next day I can have the best day ever. I always say that in my head. Today's the best day ever. And I know that. And so in part of like parenting yourself or setting yourself up for success, you want to always nurture the future you. And in part of that, you're always reminding yourself of those things when you're having a bad day. Just, think to yourself, now tomorrow could be your best day ever. This is just an off day. It's no big deal. Get a few things done on this day and you're going to feel better. That's what I do. Okay, hair video. Okay, you'll have to tell me what kind of hair video, like an update or something like that. Okay, topic is financial. Did you make your fortune from YouTube, or was it a mix of things, investments, corporate job, or luck? It seems like you came a long way financially from where you started 16 years ago. And I was wondering if it all came from your content creation, job, or from somewhere else. Wow, what a deep, fabulous question. One of my next courses is going to be the Feminine Entrepreneur. And I just so look forward to that. I'm probably going to start that soon, maybe this weekend or next week, now that I have some time at home. I have always been an entrepreneur. Since I was a child, I have always been very passionate, and whatever I was passionate about, I would make money at it. If it was babysitting, I loved babies. If it was pet sitting, I loved pets. If it was washing cars, I've always loved cars. I've always loved making money. I've never had a negative mindset towards money, and I've never been around or exposed to a negative money mindset. And that helped me a lot because I was brought up in a family of entrepreneurs and my stay-at-home mom. So I grew up admiring making money and admiring work, admiring like side jobs, and admiring people that would make money out of their passion. And so that's always been in me. And I really feel like even waitressing and bartending and cocktailing and hostessing at a restaurant was that. I remember thinking to myself, I cannot imagine having a paycheck, knowing I had to go to the same job and see the same people every day. I always loved going into work, and I still talk about this, and at the end of my shift, just pulling out that cash. I loved it when you were so busy, you couldn't even count it along the way. And then you would pull it out, sometimes not until I got home, and see how much money you made. I loved that. And I loved like meeting new people. I loved the fast pace. I loved kind of being like your own business, like picking up a shift if you wanted to, staying longer if you wanted to, being good at what you're doing so you get tipped more, all those things. Went into my first marriage, and then when we got divorced, I got a job at a car dealership, and that was my first time ever having a 9-to-5 salary job, which I guess I was curious about. I wanted that feeling of working in an office, getting dressed up, having benefits, Oh my God, it was the worst. It was the worst. The best thing about it was I loved the girls that I worked with. We laughed so hard every day. We really had a good time together. I learned a lot, and I really got in touch with what a paycheck was and not having control, not having the power to make more money, to work harder, to get better, and be able to see it in a paycheck. And I told myself, never again will I do that. So I met John, and then before I met him, I knew I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to be a stay-at-home wife. I wanted to have a provider husband who had a successful job and did not have any of the issues I had encountered with my first marriage. And I pretty much had a checklist of what I wanted. and I dated several guys, and it would usually only takes about to the second or third date, and you tell them what you want out of life, and you expose who you really are and your authentic wishes. You're not just there to sleep around. You're not just there to date around. You will find out real quick what type of man you're going out with. And then, so I had a couple of them that hung out after that sentiment, but then I realized one of them had anger issues. I had already been through that in high school, didn't want any part of that. And I'm going way too deep into this. Anyway, let's skip ahead. If you want to hear more about that, make sure you join buy my course for Feminine Entrepreneur, because I'll go much deeper into a lot of these things. Actually, that might even go into more of my relationships that I go. Everything goes into everything because it's all things I've experienced and I have knowledge of. Proof of concept. So here we are. I'm starting YouTube. Keep in mind, I always made money on the side. As soon as I married John, I quit my job and I was just a stay-at-home wife. And then I got pregnant, and then I had Brooke, which was my dream. Then we built a house. John got his contractor's license. We built the house, and I wanted another baby and had another baby. And then remember, I had a sewing business and I made really good money. I had my bags, like, I don't even know how many stores around town. I had a website, and I made custom window treatments. I kept wanting to say draperies, but window treatments, different valances, Roman shades, everything. And so I did that for a while. And then when I found YouTube, I had always been very, very passionate about YouTube. And so I started my channel, and I never knew I would be here over 16 years later, but I knew there was a chance that I could make a little bit of money if you got to be a partner. At this time, there wasn't such a thing as like affiliate links or collaborations or anything like that. And I just loved it. I just loved makeup and everything so much. I started my channel. Before that, I had been reading blogs like Makeup Alley and stuff like that. And what you guys haven't seen is all the things that I have done all along the way. All the things that John and I have done as a couple all along the way. Everything accumulates. Everything adds up. It's not one big windfall of money. It's every day, every moment, staying true to your values, to your goals, and making good decisions. So I have my website, and Brooke was just here. She said we've got over 80 items on my website now. That's where I sell earrings. I sell different things. I'm getting ready to sell some more things. So I've had my website for years. And I don't know if you guys were here when I used to sell Rachel K, Below the Belt, Sheila Fajl, Dean Davidson, Jenny Bird. Anything that I loved and was passionate about. I made t-shirts. Anything I saw that I bought, that I saw in town, I am incorporated, and I would buy it. I would contact the owner, buy it, and sell it on my website. John and I would ship for hours every night in his office. And my mom, if she wanted to see me, would just come to the post office. I knew everyone at the post office. I would take in so many packages to the post office, I would have to get a buggy from the grocery store, fill out all the customs forms. And I don't know if you remember, I started at Dillard's by buying things on their clearance, adding $2 or $3, $5, and selling them until I built up the money to invest in bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger things. I didn't spend the money. We didn't immediately go buy a new house. I didn't immediately go buy a new car. We didn't get in debt. I didn't use a credit card. And here we are. Here we are. It's by steadily trying to get better at what you're doing. Like you've seen me here on YouTube, try to make my channel better. It's by consistency. The fact that I've been here every week for over 16 years, rain or shine, sick or not. I mean, I've sat there doing videos with no voice. I've done videos with shingles. I have a good work ethic. So does John. He retired early at 60 and he helps me now. He had a good corporate job he was at for over 35 years, and he made good decisions and good investments. Someone said on my video one time something about my inheritance from grandparents. That doesn't exist. I have not inherited a dollar from a grandparent. That isn't how my family works. When my grandparents died, their children got the money. So that's just, I think it's easier for them to think that when it's really been a day in and day out decision to be smart and to make good decisions and to work hard and, all of those things. And I really have stayed authentic to myself. And I'm not the most successful person on YouTube. I don't have the most subscribers. I don't make the most money. And there was a time where I did try to do more of that, and it was not fulfilling. So my idea of success, and I've mentioned this before, is different all the time. It's always different. When I was having children, I knew what to want. I've always known what to want, what to desire. And when I was a young mom and had these babies that I was so blessed with, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and I had this wonderful home, this wonderful husband, designer bags weren't something I wanted. I wanted the season pass at Jungle Rapids. I wanted ballet lessons, soccer lessons, Cub Scouts. I wanted new clothes from Old Navy or wherever, TJ Maxx. I've always known what to want and what is most important to me at a certain time in my life. And that is very important. It's all about the seasons of your life. Even when it came to choosing a husband, we all get to choose our husbands. That's a very, very, very important decision. I would argue choosing the right person to spend the rest of your life with is 10 times more important than going to college. If people would spend as much time thinking about who they're going to marry as they do what college they're going to go to or what other people think or getting a degree in something that is not, and then they marry someone, I really believe in choosing wisely who you marry. And when I met John, it would have been easy for me to marry someone that was all flashy and had a bunch of money and all this stuff, but I wanted the character too. And so when I met John, he had a little house that he lived in with his first wife. He had a much older, less nice car than I did, but I knew his character. I knew what he wanted out of life. I knew he wasn't in debt. I knew his work habits. My aunt had worked with him since he was married the first time. We both wanted children. We were both on the same page, and we've grown together. And because he's my rock. He's such a provider. He is the base of our family. He allowed me to flourish. He allowed me to be able to do these things. And to this day, he's our rock. He is the head of our household, no matter what. So I hope that answers you. YouTube has been good to me, and I have learned a lot. And I'm very, very thankful. But nothing beats my family and the person that I've become. To me, money is always the outcome of the person you are. What am I trying to say? I don't want to just be wealthy and not have time and not have relationships and not have peace and not have passion and not have just beauty in my life. Okay, what would you tell your younger self? What is the best advice you've been told? It would be And I've done questions years and years and years ago. I did what to ask or what to know or what to ask before you get married. Because see, I did it the wrong way the first time. And I take radical responsibility for that whole relationship. I take complete responsibility for that. And so how do you keep balance in your life? Prioritizing God, family, work, and friends. I keep it very, very clear in my head who matters to me the most, whose opinions matter to me, what matters to me, and that's what I focus on. I let the rest of the stuff, I can't say that I don't pay attention to it because I'm human. And I've learned I don't want to disregard my emotions and my feelings if I have a friendship that falls apart, or I have a comment that hurts my feelings, or I have a friend that hurts my feelings. I've learned to process the feeling, feel it, and kind of let it go and just not hold on to it. I only hold on to the people and things, not even things, probably the people and the relationships and God that are important to me. And I feel like everybody should think this way, but I don't know if everybody does, but I know that God even knows my thoughts. So I don't feel the need to do a lot of outward things to show others about my relationship with God. I feel like I think everyone has their own relationship. And, John and I, and my parents, my family, everyone, like I said, that I am worried about their opinion or I care, they know. They know how I feel. But it is hard to find that. I think so many people get wrapped up in what their coworkers think, or what friends think, or what neighbors think, or what just people in society, people in public, they worry about what they think. And then they come home and treat their family bad. They talk to a stranger better than they do their family. And that is just not the way it is here. I had a German teacher. She was from Germany, Miss Whitey. And I remember I loved her class. It was 10th grade. I had her in 10th and 11th and I think 12th grade. I went all the way to advanced. And she would teach us like life lessons, and I loved it. And she was talking about women that will look terrible at home, wear pure rags at home, walk around in curlers, no makeup, but then get dressed up, go out to the store and in society, and then come home and then look terrible again and be mean to their family and to their husband. And she was saying when it's really the opposite. You should want to look good and feel good and be nice and have the relationship with people that you care about. And so I've never forgotten that. House plant tour. I have a few monstera and would love to see yours. Oh my God, I've got so many. I've got a new one that I think I showed you my new one that Brooke got me. And it's got, ever since I've started using that fertilizer that I told you guys about from Amazon, I've got new leaves everywhere. Okay, a perfume video. Oh, they don't do well. They don't do well. And I think I've told you, I don't enjoy doing videos that no one watches. It's like cooking a dinner and no one eating it. It's very defeating. So what I try to do is just put a little perfume in every video. Right now, my favorite is that Jo Malone that I just got, the Raspberry Ripple. That's my favorite. Mom of 5 and 2-year-old here. Oh, that was about MySpace. What is something you could tell your younger self to help her enjoy the years even more while her kids are young? Oh my gosh. Just, the days are long, but the years are short. And I do remember that. I'm never going to say that I don't. Let's give you 5 tips that I did. I never lost touch with myself. I always dressed nicely. I would find good shoes, good little outfits, my good mommy uniform. I always wore makeup, did my hair. Never lose yourself. Never lose touch of your passion, your feminine energy. And then another one is never lose the relationship with your husband. It's going to be a not very romantic, strained season of your relationship. It's not going to be like it was honeymoon times when you're on the serotonin, dopamine cocktail. It's going to be real life. But remember, you're a team. You're a team, and what you have in common are those babies. And they are there for life. So be a team, be compassionate, respect your husband. He's not a woman. He's not built to be a mom. Celebrate being a mom. Celebrate it. Do it to the max. Romanticize it. Just do all the things. Get into your home decor. Get into cooking, trying different recipes. Get into spending time with them. Like plant a bunch of flowers out in your yard and then spend every afternoon watering them with your kids. Every day, take the wagon up and down the street. I mean, these are things that we would do. And I'm not even a very routine person. I've never been on a strict schedule, or we never had a strict, timeline. But we would do things like we would usually be outside watering the plants when John came home from work. And then we would come in, bath time, dinner, not on a tight deadline, but get yourself a nice little, more than a routine, a rhythm of your days. Always, let's see, so that's 3. Number 4, always have something to look forward to. We didn't do a lot of date nights, but what we did is we were friends with other couples, and we would have them over, and then we would go to their house and do dinner parties, and I would cook. I remember crab dip was one of my things I always did. I would go get fresh crab meat from the beach. I would make a good crab dip. One guy loved my brownies and ice cream, where I would try different desserts. I really got into the place setting and the cards. And then you can have fun with another couple and your husband, and your kids are there. You're not getting a babysitter, but just do it to the max. Don't even worry. There are so many days, years left for designer bags, for trips to New York, for girls' trips, for second honeymoons. There are so many years left, but there is this only one time that your children are young. Only one time. And they change so fast. Take as many pictures as you can. Every moment, just remember it. Remember all the small little silly things that they say. And just be there. Do not even think about buying a bunch of stuff that you don't need, or what other people think. I had mommy cars that I loved. They don't make these anymore here in the US, but my favorite was my Volkswagen Passat wagons. I would get a little wagon, tint the windows. It was sporty. We had the TV in the back. Every time there was a new video released, I was at Walmart getting the DVD. We were all in the car. We would sing. We would play music. John's parents would get us the water park pass, season pass every year. Then we'd cruise through McDonald's on the way home and get a McFlurry. Good times. Good times. We still talk about it to this day. And nothing will ever replace that. I'm in a different stage of my life now, and I do different things. I spend my time doing different things, but it will never be that. It will never be that. I could be a billionaire living in France, and it will still never be that. It will never be those times. So while you have that time, do that. I cannot stress it enough. Can you recommend some of your favorite books? Also, what are your top 3 vacation spots? I'll have you know, I'm typing this with Cajun shrimp on my nails. I just did it this morning. Okay, favorite vacation spots right now are Boston, New York, and Vegas. Isn't that silly? But I live at the beach, so I don't need to go anywhere for a tropical vacation. I don't like snow, and I like people. I like different things. I love luxury and luxury fashion and handbags, and I love just that different atmosphere than I've ever been in. Okay, favorite books. I know that one, of course, The Pivot Year, and what is it, The Four amendments or 4, what is that book? That was a really good one when you say, is it true? I haven't read a lot of good books. Like right now, the one I'm listening to and I listen to on my flight is It Begins With You. I spent a lot of years really in like self-improvement, but it was in more of a masculine way, more about business and hustle, and I'm getting out of that. I want to get back into flow. I want my life to be more into flow, not hustle. So that's been a difference there. I've complimented you before on your under eyes being so smooth and perfect. Have you ever had lower blepharoplasty? No, I had upper. Or lasers or peels or anything under your eyes? No. I do have wrinkles. I do. Crow's feet. Okay, I do get dysport, but she doesn't go down here. She keeps it high because if you get it down here, it'll make your cheeks bunch up and then it'll give you like a divot right there. Don't do that. Only get it right here and it wears off fast. I just get a little bit. And I use, like today I have on the Estee Lauder Double Wear with the Maybelline powder. How to pick the right color foundation. Whew, that is just trial and error. That is everybody's struggle. Where do you hope to see yourself professionally, long term? Well, I don't ever plan on stopping because I love it. There was a time where this was getting to be work and I've undone that. And I'm more in flow now. And so I only create the videos that I want to do when I want to do them and things that I'm passionate about. So that I want to continue with that. I want to continue creating courses and I eventually want to get into more coaching. I really feel like I can help women with a lot of these different things, from money to relationships to carnivore to all of it. The new skincare at Quince. I probably won't be trying that because I am an Obagi Nuderm lover. It's prescription strength. It's wonderful. I love it. I don't ever plan on stopping that. I'm not a big skincare junkie. I found what works and I'm sticking to it. How do you organize your wardrobe and jewelry? Need some ideas? I'm not the best at that either. I do like having my jewelry in like pretty little dishes and I keep my day-to-day stuff out so that I see it. Do you make it a priority to have a night out, a girls' night out from time to time, or a day at the spa with girlfriends? No, I've never really been that girl. I love being alone. I do. I love being alone and I realize being alone is a luxury. Being alone is kind of like a flex because to be alone, you have to be pretty happy within yourself. You have to be happy with your own thoughts. You have to love your own thoughts. You have to love your own company. You have to appreciate what you are, where you are in life and where you're going. And I love that so much. It's very, very valuable to me. It's not that I don't like being with friends when we go to these different places, but it's not, I've never felt a need for a girls' night out. I've never been a drinker. I am not a spa person whatsoever. If you'll notice, I don't even get a lot of lasers. I don't get facials. I don't get peels. I don't get anything like that. I get Dysport and that's it. And I have a good skincare. I get pedicures, sometimes a manicure, only if I have to, if my cuticles are so bad. I have had one massage in my life and that was because I had bad neck pain and they told me to go do it and I hated it. I just don't like it. And honestly, it's been to the point where like if we were like a group of us thinking about having a girls trip, I was kind of a party pooper because what will happen is there's so many girls that will want to do spa and sit out by the pool. And then I would rather go out shopping, go out to eat, walk around, and then that wouldn't mesh. And so I've learned to I'm not ashamed of that. And I'm also not going to spend days and money doing things I don't want to do. And so when you get to that point in your life, you just don't do those things. So no. And you know, I live within 15 minutes of my mom, my dad, my brother, my niece, my husband's retired. I'm here. My daughter lives the equal distance. My son lives here. He's in school. I'm around people all the time. So I just don't ever have that feeling. You know, when I did do that, when I had little kids and I was still trying to keep in touch with a lot of people, I found that a lot of times after those outings, and even after a lot of these like LTK style conference or the YouTube conferences, and I would go and be around a lot of friends, I came back feeling worse. You're exposing yourself to people that will hurt your feelings and make digs at you. If I do spend time with people now, when you see me spending time with a person, it is a person that has not crossed my boundaries. It is a person that I feel that makes me a better person, that makes me feel better about myself. I will no longer spend time around anyone giving the underhanded compliments or stabbing me and talking about me behind my back. I have spent years doing that, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. How do you display or store your handbags? Can we have a closet tour? I'm going to start, we're working on my closet room, but I don't really want to, I don't feel like, I've never been a big handbag. I don't need to flex all my handbags. I do like them, but even when, like last time I did that Louis Vuitton collection, all I got was all those spam things from all that Kiss Luxe bags and all that stuff and negative comments. It just seems to be not worth it. So if you watch my videos, you see what I get, what I'm using, what I'm wearing. I don't have them like in glass cases with this beautiful display closet or anything. I just have them where I can use them. Okay, your best motherly tips. How do you maintain such a strong relationship with your kids? I just did a segment of this on my feminine energy course. I added it to my parenting with feminine energy. I did a whole segment on Brooke and I and our trip to Boston and how my parenting style has always been feminine energy. And I think it's a lot of my success with my children and my family. When you do decluttering, how do you best decide what to keep and what to disregard? I have so many nice things and it's hard to decide what needs to go. I think of someone else loving it. And I've told you that I'm really funny about who I give my stuff to. I cannot just grab a bunch of stuff and throw it in a bin. My cleaning girls get a big bag of stuff every week. I sell a lot of stuff for half price to you girls. Most of the stuff has been worn once or still has the tags on it. So I love that I'm employing Brooke with that, and you girls are getting good stuff for half the price. And even makeup, I give it all away. I'll take Morgan a big box and she'll give it to some of her clients. I'll take stuff to my mom. My mom will take stuff to a woman that works the front desk at her chiropractor. I just make sure I'm giving it to people that I think will enjoy it, and that makes me feel better. And you know, there's only been, I would say about 10% of the time that I feel like I regret giving something away or I have to buy it twice. It's not very often that I regret it. Okay, can you do a vlog or beach pool day? I live in Florida. It's so interesting to hear how other beaches and what other people in other states do with their warm weather activities in the summer. Yesterday, Brooke and I and John just walked over to our pool. And John kind of got us settled and took the cooler over there because it was heavy. And then he sat down for like 5 minutes and left. And then we stayed over there for about 2 hours and came home. That is a typical pool day. Or if I go with John, we'll sit there. We haven't gone as much this year. I really love laying out in my backyard. And because we live so close to the water, it's pretty breezy. But sometimes it's getting a little too hot to do that. How do you stay motivated to eat right when you first started? All feel so hopeless when you are so far away from your goal. Okay, I do have a carnivore course that talks all about this. I add to it all the time. I just added a module about getting back from out of town and how to handle that. I always say this. Say you have, like I lost over 30 pounds and I have kept it off of even more over, 5 years now? And it felt really damn good after 6 or 8 pounds. It felt really good after 10. It felt really good after 12. It felt really good after 15. And you can go back in my videos and you can see me losing the weight and going through that whole process. I was so happy and felt so good. I could not believe it. I did not even want to say the words because I was scared something would happen. So just do it. And you have to want it more than what something tastes like for a minute. And you have to stay full on good stuff. How do you style your hair with extensions? Do you take any supplements for hair regrowth? Okay, I style my hair basically the same as I always have, and I don't take any supplements for hair regrowth, but it's growing like crazy. But I, like I said, am carnivore, and so I have a very protein, collagen heavy diet. How long are you going to leave your extensions in? How often are you putting heat on your hair now? I'm probably going to leave them in for another 6 months at least. And I do heat on my hair about every 3rd day. Aw, love watching you from Israel. Feels like we're old friends. Thank you. Okay, one more. My question is regarding dating. People are always saying to me, it'll happen when you least expect it. That's kind of challenging when everyone is reminding you that you're still single at 33. How would you respond to those comments? I love all your content and especially love your life advice videos, and I respect your thoughts and opinions. I've been watching you since my early 20s. That makes me so happy and I'm so proud. Thank you. I would say spend all the time that you can becoming the best version of you that does not have anything to do with a man. Spend time becoming confident, becoming healthy, becoming disciplined, keeping promises to yourself, learning more about yourself, being more authentic. Nurture the relationship within yourself. Cultivate your hobbies and your passions. Really double down on those things that bring you joy. And when you feel like you are a happy, well-rounded, non-needy person on your own, then it's time to put yourself in the places that a partner would be. Before that, you have to get very, very, very in touch with what you want out of life. And this takes people a long time. What do you want unapologetically? Do you want kids? Do you not want kids? Do you want to move around? Do you not want to move around? Like I think I've told you, right in the beginning, I told John I was not going to be the girl to go hiking with you. I'm not going to be camping in a tent. I like to shop. I like clothes. I like makeup. I love babies. I want to be a mama. I told him right off the bat. He was like, great, that's what I want, and it was just, we were engaged 3 months later. So you have to be very, very, very in tune with what you want out of life, and then very, very happy within yourself, and you find a person to share that with. Another person that's very, very happy and very in tune with what he wants. And your wants don't have to be perfectly matched, but they at least need to be, okay, sometimes you can go shopping and I'll be playing golf. You can go to New York and I'll be here playing golf. I'll go on a golf trip. You can be here with the kids. That's what we've done. And you don't want to be looking for someone to make you happy. They can only make you happier. So that is my biggest message for women of all ages, is get happy within yourself. Have the feeling that no matter what happens, I will be okay. I will be okay because I know to this day right now, I will be okay because I can take care of myself. And that is how you have to be. I don't depend on John. He doesn't depend on me. It's a conscious decision every day. We are dedicated to our marriage and our life, and we're happy within ourselves. We just make each other happier, and that is the key to that. Now, I do understand it's complicated now because there's so much out there, and that's what I want to talk about in like my dating course. But don't go Like after my first marriage, I certainly didn't want someone with a drinking issue or someone that wanted to be out at a bar. So I wasn't going to find my next husband out at a bar. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You're going to need to realize who would be your ideal partner and where would that person go? What would they be doing? Are you a high value woman? Are you the woman that a man that you would want is going to be attracted to? I'm definitely going to be doing that course too. It's just all about the time. It's the time. So, okay, girls, I hope that you enjoyed this. It says, can you do a day in the life and or daily outfits? I feel like I have that all the time. So thank you so much for being here. This is what I love. This is what I love. It's just talking to you, talking about fashion. Oh, let me do my outfit. This is a dress that Revolve sent me. I am a Revolve partner. And I just got this when we got back, and Brooke steamed it for me. And it's a nice little, I'm not typically a preppy looking girl, but I love this. I love the cutaway, and I'm just wearing my new favorite shoes, which are the Gucci Princetown Mules. And that is it. And I've actually got those new, the high-waisted thong undies that I got from the Nordstrom sale, and I love them. They're kind of smoothing. I love them. And then my wolf ring. That sounded like a bark. Wolf ring. And I'm trying to get back. I miss my watches. I got out of the habit of wearing them when it was winter. And Cajun shrimp. Oh, and I felt like the door knocker earrings kind of went well with this classic look. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.